So starting this test drive in the IONIQ 6, can't say enough about how nice the interior is. Just in terms of, again, it's a minimalist interior, but also it's extremely roomy and extremely capable in terms of having the heated seats. All this space here, the screen is within arm's reach for me, but if you can't reach that, a lot of the controls are easier to reach down here, and you have pretty much everything you need at the steering wheel as well. It just makes a lot of sense. And the regenerative braking, the system itself to me is one of the best ones out there, just because you have basically 4 levels of regen, with one of them being a 1-pedal drive system, which is pretty spot on just in terms of how it works. You let your foot off the throttle and you're not feeling a lot of lurking or anything. It's just consistent for the most part. But ride quality wise, it's actually pretty good to me. And like most of the Hyundais, it's just, the ride's solid. It's not necessarily smooth, but it's also not bouncy either. And I don't even want to say it's not smooth, because it's certainly more smooth than it is bouncy. The suspension is quite impressive. But I've been driving in normal mode, so I want to see how it puts power down when I put it into the sport mode. I keep trying to turn the knob, but you press the button. Have a little bit of space here. And here we go. So it doesn't throw you back in your seat, but of course it's an EV, so it's pretty good. I'm gonna put it in eco mode now. Turn on the smart cruise. And then lane centering here. Let's adjust the gap. And then we have that hands-free driving. But it's a pretty good system. But again, that ride quality was great for an EV. And I definitely could see myself taking this on longer road trips. Comparing that to the Mustang Mach-E that I have, it's much more tame. The ride is, I feel like the seats are a bit more comfortable, but still quite supportive. And I just like the driving dynamics overall. It's not necessarily sporty, but you definitely feel it tense up when you put it into that sport mode. But for the price point, I think this is a pretty solid option, especially being under 50 grand MSRP. Now, you don't get the EV tax credit with the IONIQ 6, but you're certainly getting a lot of bang for your buck, in my opinion. Especially having the lane keep system, the adaptive cruise. You're not having to pay extra for a super cruise, blue cruise, any of that. And it's just, you get good range as well. Now, in terms of competition, depending on how you look at it, this could either be a Model 3 or I think a Model S competitor. But then pretty much every other EV that's out right now, even if you want to consider the Mercedes EQE or anything that Toyota has, the new BMWs, all of that is really in the same segment, because everybody is bringing their A game. It's really just, I think, how expensive the parts are that are being used. And I think this IONIQ 6 is a great bargain because it has the looks to compete with any other EV on the market. I think it has the range to compete with any other EV out on the market. And it certainly has a price point that allows you to get into EVs without breaking the bank for maybe an EQS or a Lucid or even a Tesla. Again, $50,000 for what you get is definitely a good deal for this car, in my opinion. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Hyundai IONIQ 6.